action plan. The action plan aims to improve the lives of women, encourage equal participation at all levels, overcome challenges that women face, particularly pertaining to SGBV, but then it also emphasizes the inclusion of women and their participation at the relief and recovery pillar, so that women are we not only focus on the impact and their recovery from in conflict resolution, but then we also pay attention to how they can be part of this pillar and be part of recovery processes. During day 2, we were also the deliberations also looked at the aim of Women Network. The discussions we particularly looked at the Women Network of the Namibian Defence Force, which has the aim to monitor the positive advancement of women in the Defence Force. Day 3, we looked at the role of a moderator, and we had a motivational speech which encouraged all women to do the best that we can. We had a presentation on the best practices, challenges, and lessons learned by NAMPOL. General Madam, if I may inform you, during this presentation, when it comes to the best practices and achievement of NAMPOL, I wish you were here to observe Deputy Commissioner as she very proudly introduced you. Part of the best practices were increased representation of women in peace support processes, increased female representation in decision-making positions, community outreach programs. However, despite this good process, there were also some challenges that were observed, part of it which is, of course, financial resources. The other challenge was also the lack of women in specialized fields, capacitated women in specialized fields. And then we moved over to best practices and challenges by the Namibian Correctional Service. Of course, we've also reported good representation in decision-making, increased female participation in peace support processes, also established a women network as well as a mentoring program, appointed focal persons at all correctional institutions, as well as the rollout of the SGBV program. However, we've also experienced challenges such as the structures that are not fully implemented at all levels, as well as financial resources. We also looked at the best practices, challenges, and lessons learned by the Office of the President, and then the best practices, challenges, and lessons learned by the NDF, the Namibian Defence Force. Here, my Colonel Benjamin, or as I now affectionately call her, Colonel Strategic Pillar, made sure that we were informed that they have also made good progress pertaining to the implementation of the National Action Plan. They reported an increase in number of women in decision-making. Their women network, as I earlier alluded to, they have made good progress in implementing the gender-responsive budgeting, as well as drafted policies on gender and sexual harassment. However, just as the two previous security institutions, they also highlighted challenges, part of which is a low ratio in female recruits. We move over to day 6. Day 6 started off with a discussion on the historical background of Resolution 1325 on women, peace, and security. Here, we were informed that Namibia has officially launched the first Namibian International Women Peace Center, and not only that, it is the first of its kind in Namibia and also in the SADC region. However, it is still at its infancy stage. And then we looked at discussions pertaining to gender mainstreaming, where we were informed or where we discussed on gender mainstreaming being as a process of putting the integral needs of women in any planned action and design, and also looked at how we can mainstream gender in the security sector, and part of it involves enhancing the lives of women currently working in the security sector. And then we moved over to the AU Continental Monitoring Framework for African Indicator for Reporting. Here we were informed about the importance of reporting, the importance of keeping data, and importance of doing research, as that is the only way where we can identify gaps and fill them. We moved over to discussions on gender responsive budgeting on day 7. Here we discussed budgets being an integral part of our budgeting process, gender responsive budgeting, and they should tackle the needs of both men and women, and it should not be a separate budget, but rather we should include the needs of men and women in our current budgets. Day 8, we looked at the role of civil societies towards the implementation of NEP. We can all agree that civil society is the link between government and the society, as they are key informants in our, as they can form as key informants in our policy developments, as they have vital information, particularly relating to women and violence. We've also discussed the positive contribution that the civil society, particularly WAD, where we were informed that WAD currently conducts research with males in the security sector as a way of holding deliberations pertaining to violence against women. Second part of day 8 looked at the role of Pan-African organization towards the implementation of Resolution 1325, whereas WAD solely focused at the implementation of NEP. The role of the Pan-African organization takes the fight continentally. So here, it focuses on increasing women's participation in the continent pertaining to violence and conflict. It also encourages women at the continental level to partake in decision-making positions. The last part of day 8 focused on the best practices lessons learned on the implementation of NEP in women, peace and security. However, here we looked at the whole security sector, and it was just a summarized version of what I presented before. Day 9, we looked at the best practices of South Africa. South Africa also developed a NEP, and part of their best practices were the transformation action plan that they have to transform the South African Police Service to have equal representation. They also have an induction program, which I think for us is a mentoring program. They have activities such as the Leadership Management Week, which solely focuses on interactions amongst women leaders. And then we moved over to our CDF's address. The main questions during this address focused on how gender can be mainstreamed in the security sector. We're asked to make our strategic plans to include women as an important part in our strategic plans, to make advertisements targeting underrepresented groups such as women, introduce specialized programs such as coaching, but how can we achieve this also? It's through ongoing mentoring of our women that are currently or already in the security sector, and also advocate for zero tolerance when it comes to women and discrimination against women. We moved over to the best practices of Zambia. General Madam, if I may inform you, Zambia have not yet implemented the NEP, but have done activities already pertaining to that. For example, our colleague here from Zambia indicated that she was the first woman to be appointed in the Zambian army as a battalion commander. Her presentation also focused on how practically women play a vital role in peace support processes. Botswana also do not have a national action plan yet. However, during her presentation, we learned that the first commissioner, or the current commissioner of Botswana Prison Service, is female. Zimbabwe is in the process of implementing the NEP. But during the presentation, we learned that women, as we earlier reported, one of our challenges was that Namibians do not have a lot of women taking part in specialized fields. However, Zimbabwe informed us that in Zimbabwe, they have female pilots, for example, which was previously a highly dominated field. Tanzania, though do not have a NEP, they also demonstrated will and indicated that already they are practicing the inclusion of women in peace support processes and as well as decision making. The security sector has dominated very important resolutions that will be channeled through to our principals as we strive to holistically address the challenges highlighted in moving Resolution 1325 forward. We can collectively do this with your support as our principal, General Madam. Before I end, I would like to end with a quote. Before I conclude, I would like to end with a quote by Dr. T. Shanika. Whatever they do for us, without us, is against us. Having said that, thank you for your kind attention, General Madam.
Thank you very much, Superintendent Kefas, for bringing our principles on par with what we've been dealing with for the past 10, 15, 10, and 5 days. General Madam, distinguished delegates, may I kindly and humbly request that our SADC participants just rise briefly for a moment so that General can take note who they are in the room. Thank you. We have General, we have on my right, Lieutenant Colonel Uludi from the Zambian Army, and then we have Squadron Wing Commander Priscilla Priscilla from Zimbabwe. We have Brigadier Tileni from SAPS, and then Lieutenant Colonel Nyatange from the mighty Tanzania, and then we have Superintendent Lufu from Botswana Prison Service. Thank you, distinguished delegates. At this juncture, General, your arrangement was done for you and your delegation to absorb the presentation. May I humbly kindly request you to take your rightful place, which is at the high table, led by Colonel Agatha. Thank you, General. Thank you very much, distinguished delegates. We may have a seat. General, Madam, for the past 10 days, particularly the 5 days that we were joined by our sister countries, we deliberated on a lot of issues. And we concluded that it is okay for the society to refer to us when we gather like this, in platforms like this, that it is a gathering on women issues. We are okay with that. We accept it unreservedly, and we will not change the narrative. Because when we gather like this, it indeed demonstrates that it is women issues that we are deliberating on as women, issues close to our hearts as women battalion commanders, women as meal providers, women as soldiers, police officers, and correctional officers, women as educators, and women as caregivers. Equally, women as mothers, counselors, and women who are working towards a just cause in creating safer homes, communities, and societies, incorporating our boy children, our men, our supporters who are here, be it our bosses, our heads of houses, our partners, or our colleagues in this agenda. Women as agents of change, because as women, we speak peace, and we will never change and stop speaking and advocating for peace. As we move towards concluding our program, General Madam, some critical yet imperative collective resolutions have been passed, and there is a need to highlight a few, but in the interest of time, allow me to indicate that the official document of our resolutions will be channeled through after this gathering, seeking for a robust and holistic implementation approach and collaboration in addressing areas in our first generation Namibia National Action Plan for the remainder of the period until 2024. As we move forward, moving Security Council Resolution 1325, allow me to introduce our guest of honor. Her name is derived from a biblical point of view, a spiritual perspective, and her name is Anne-Marie, meaning He or God has favored me. Anne-Marie possesses a great deal of good fortune. It is her birthright to rule an enterprise. Balance and power are the two words that describes her. When people hear the name Anne-Marie, they perceive her as someone who is stimulating, an idea generator, charismatic, and she attracts influence and inspires people. Anne-Marie radiates a potential for success that attracts others to the cause. She is a person who is true to her ambitions and interests, good ambitions, that is. Independent, creative, a free thinker, and has a strong leadership potential. That is why she is where she is. She is a leader. She wants to be in charge and tend to like original ideas. Anne-Marie is an administrator. She's a supervisor, an industrialist, a builder. I'm not sure of being a politician because that is something else. And she is a printer, a publisher, an engineer, a philosopher, a social scientist, and she's a public speaker. She's a leader in security, in commerce, traveler, and tourism. An amazingly gifted and intelligent, savvy creature, creative and intuitive. She's capable of any task laid before her if she chooses to pursue it. So, a word of advice: if you want to pursue Anne-Marie, do not do so romantically, she's taken, but rather intelligently and humor. She loves to love. In other spaces such as business, she would have done her homework, so feel free to fire her way as she can handle anything you toss her way. However, do proceed with caution. She has a memory like an elephant and will not forget what you have done in spite of the smile on her face. So if you are fortunate, the way we are in the Namibian police force, to have an Anne-Marie as a boss, as a mentor, we are being rewarded fiercely with loyalty and occasional surprises, in the good sense, of course. So she will have utmost respect for you if you respond in kind. That is the name Anne-Marie. I will not quote my reference. But then again, from a professional perspective, General Anne-Marie Nainda has over 31 years of active policing experience. She has worked for Interpol for over 10 years as a regional specialized officer. She is a peacekeeper and was the Deputy Police Commissioner in the SADC Observer Mission in Lesotho, SOMILES. She's a task team member in formulating the African Standby Force Doctrine, established the Southern Africa Regional Police Chiefs Cooperation Organization. When I say we speak peace, I mean just that even in acronyms where it doesn't fit, I want to bring it in. Women's Network in Namibia's Police Women Peace Agenda and Plans, which added value in gender mainstreaming efforts in the security sector. If I may pause for a moment, we can all agree, looking at the composition of her delegation, that this demonstrates the General's agenda on gender mainstreaming. She was the first regional commander for Oshikoto region from 2000, female that is, we are putting the emphasis on female, from 2007 to 2017, before she was appointed as the Deputy Inspector General for Administration in the Namibian Police Force. She holds a master's degree in International Relations and Diplomacy Management, an LLB, a National Diploma in Police Science, higher certificate, as well as other certificates in strategic leadership, defense and security management, in strategic leadership, security awareness, and intelligence course, professional service delivery as a regionalized specialized officer. And as we speak, she has joined Interpol in the executive committee, and she has started from the ranks of Interpol. Allow me, dear distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, to demonstrate how honored and privileged I am to invite the Deputy Inspector General for Administration in the Namibian Police Force, Major General Anne-Marie Nainda, and the executive member of the Interpol Executive Committee, a daughter of the soil and a trendsetter, a champion of women empowerment, to deliver her closing remarks. General, Madam.
Thank you very much. Please be seated. These commissioners are full of surprises. I'm very elated to be here. Before I will give the formal closing statement, I just want to share my feelings that, I mean, when I was seated there, I was reflecting when particularly she was giving, the lady from, the superintendent from Correctional Service was doing her presentation, I was reflected on the day or at the moment where all these have started. I recall so vividly, it was at MOD, at the Ministry of Defense, I think at the basement, where we met for the first time. I was still a regional commander in Oshikoto, and I was accompanied by Commissioner Mafila and by the Director of Ceremonies, by Deputy Commissioner Abraham. And Colonel at the time, I don't know what ranks he's having, Boti, and the likes of Dr. Shanika, and also the senior male officers of NDF who were there, of the defense was there. And I recall the atmosphere was not so, because when you are starting something new, especially women and equality, and some of these terminologies can sometimes make us very uncomfortable. But today, honestly speaking, I was very emotional when I was listening to the progress that we have made. That day, and after that day, we still had other meetings because we were trying to brainstorm this, the NEP issue and the agenda for Namibia as a country, and particularly the lead ministry, that is the Ministry of Defense and Veterans Affairs. Will this thing even happen for us as a country? Now, why I'm saying that is sometimes when we come in spaces and places where other people, the pioneers, have done things for us, and we don't have a background understanding, we might take things for granted. It was not easy as a country. We did not know where to start, how to start. Sometimes in the process, we used to jump on each other's throats and necks. But today I can proudly say that Namibia has really made great strides. And I want to really appreciate the lead ministry on this agenda, the Ministry of Defense and Veterans Affairs, for what they have done. Just even to have us all here was not something that was fashionable at the time. To sit and frankly discuss the agenda that was so well articulated by all those who have spoken before me. So I am so emotional when I think. Now I was even thinking now some of us can retire because Shanika already retired. So really, I'm saying it from a very serious perspective. We had other sessions where sometimes we ourselves as women were also thinking, is this thing really going to materialize? But now, for those of you who are going to pick up the batons from us, particularly as women, you need to make sure that we do it for the betterment of our people and for global peace and security. So I really want us to clap for Namibia, for the progress that we have made. I really want us to give a round of applause to ourselves. We are not sometimes used to do that. But I think we need to clap for ourselves. Please, let's do that. So having said that, also to our SADC sister organizations, I'm really impressed also by the diversity. That just shows that as women, when we get the space and the opportunity, we should take it up and we should make the best of every opportunity that we get. Sometimes we become a little bit, I think, doubtful in our own capacities or fearful. But when we get these opportunities, let's make sure we take that space and we make it, we make the best of it at all times. I'm just encouraging you, especially in the security sector. We are working in a very stressful environment most of the time. And sometimes as women, it's so many things on our plates, the children, the family, other roles that we are playing, but let's just continue to press on for the benefit of those who will come after us. Let's make sure we create tomorrow while we are here now in today. Thank you so much. Now to the official statement, allow me to stand on the protocol that is already established. And also thank the Director of Ceremonies. I think it's the first time in my life that I was introduced so comprehensively. I'm also going to research, particularly on the name, because I did not know all the information so that I can start to behave like someone that is having that name. I'm really going to do that, but thank you. I truly appreciate it, Commissioner. Director of Ceremonies, Brigadier Chakani Gladys Midileni, the Head of Planning and Evaluation Division, Visible Policing and Operations, South African Police Service. Commissioner Mafila, the Head of Human Resource Directorate from NAMPOL, and also the Chairperson of the Namibian Police Women's Network. The Regional Commander of Erongo Region. It's women, so I naturally start with women. My apology. We are in your region, Commissioner Kupembona. He's the regional commander of this beautiful region, and he's the one that is responsible for your security and your safety. Commissioner Mona Lisa Molobuche, the head of training and development, and many other titles that was already said here. Senior and junior officers from other SADC sister countries, that's Zambia, Zimbabwe, Tanzania, and Botswana. Colonel retired Dr. Theophilia Shanika, my sister. Senior officers and officials from the Namibian security sector institutions, junior officers present, representatives from the UN Women, a representative from the UN Women, representatives from all other line ministries, representatives from the civil society organizations, non-commissioned officers, and I also heard we are having a representative from the Ministry of, did you say gender? Can I maybe ask that person to rise? Oh, Deputy Director, please. We want to appreciate you. That's also an office that is very close to us. I acknowledge you. And all other representatives from different entities. If there are media practitioners, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I believe it's good afternoon already, or good morning. The weather is confusing. I also want to commend the NDF media team. I'm always threatening our own team that you are the best. Honestly speaking, when there are events, you stream live, information is on time. I think we need to clap for this media team. They are extraordinary. They are doing very well. And all men that are here in their different positions, it is my singular honor and privilege to be officiating at this closing ceremony of the Biennial Conference for Women in the Security Sector. Allow me on the onset to congratulate the Ministry of Defense and Veterans Affairs, Namibia, for organizing this conference, the first ever to be hosted in Namibia. I think let's give them a round of applause. May I also thank the Namibia security sector institutions for the brilliant coming together which led to the successful facilitation of this important event. Dear participants, your efforts to convene such a conference is applauded, for you are determined to implement the call by the United Security Council Resolution 1325 and its subsequent resolutions. I am sure the outcome of your deliberations will determine your future as the SADC security sector. I am informed that participants to this conference includes officers from defense forces, police and correctional services, which composition includes, like I've already stated, a brigadier that was drawn from South Africa, and other ranks from those institutions. This is an indication that women in the security sector are hard at work in the implementation of the call by the UN Security Council Resolution 1325 on women, peace and security. I appreciate your commitment, having taken time out of your busy schedule. To me, this is a sense of ownership and your strong patriotism, and I believe that you had successfully discussed and debate during these 5 days. Your gathering came as a result of a common goal, and each country in this region continue to face common problems that befits you. As women in the security sector, you have discussed challenges that will inform decision makers to address them for the benefit of your country, the region, and the entire continent. Your challenges intertwined with issues which, whether they are cross-cutting or stand alone, relate to one another. Please do not relax when you go back. Go and share it with the people, inform the women of this region about the conference proposals. Share your vision with your decision makers at all levels. Show your determination and coherence. Reach out to more women and remain inclusive. You will need to sustain and give direction to international, continental, and regional solidarity to ensure that this is your process. It is your outcomes. With that, you have achieved another milestone in your long journey in the implementation of the United Nations Security Council Resolution 1325 and all other subsequent resolutions. I will fail in my duty if I do not thank the UN Women for contributing to the success of this event. Do we have someone from the UN Women? They are not present here. Okay, but they have always been supporters of this agenda. The entity's usual support is much appreciated. Lastly, may I congratulate you once again for a job well done. Remember, it is time for action. It is time for impact. Let us transform and not conform. It is time for action. It is time for impact. Let us transform and not conform. With these few remarks, may I wish you safe journeys back to your destinations, and may God bless you. And I thank you all. And I think you can also clap for me. Just a little bit.
Thank you very much, General Madam. Now we can rightfully give you our Asante Sana without the one that General has requested, because that is the culture in this room. Asante Sana. Asante Sana. Without having to dilute what our guest of honor has indicated, I just want to highlight what she said. Let us do what? Implement and not conform. That is the message in entirety. General Madam, may I kindly invite Colonel Agatha to follow the tradition as it has been done over the past few days in demonstrating our appreciation to you being here with your delegation. Colonel Agatha, Madam.
For your support to our struggle as we
Asante sana. Asante sana. Thank you, Major General Colonel Agatha. We cannot overemphasize the mantra, the motto that the General goes by. Hence the display to say, I quote, "I have taken a personal decision many years ago to conquer any space that is regarded as a no-go area for women. Some of these steps we take not necessarily because it's easy and nice, but simply because we want to change the narrative that women, especially the African breed, are not able, ready, or suitable for certain spaces. I'm appealing to your conscience as senior women to smash every glass ceiling for the levels below. The present is female," unquote. Major General Anne-Marie Nainda. Having said that, may I kindly take this opportunity to thank the General and her delegation for having taken time out of your particular busy schedules to travel all the way to this beautiful coastal town of Swakopmund to grace this occasion. It once again assures us that and demonstrate that the commitment from your office at the highest level as a female officer is recognized. To the UN Women, Mrs. Shonge in absentia, we do not have words to describe the gratitude coming from the security sector in the implementation of this cause, the WPS agenda. Dr. Colonel, retired, Theophilia Shanika, what should we say? We can only thank you profoundly, and we know that a mother does not leave her children until they are self-sustaining. You've been holding our hand since the inception of this process. We thank you for that. Mrs. Kufuna and your team from the Ministry of Gender Equality, Poverty Eradication and Social Welfare, the General has spoken, but we still want to thank you for ever being there. IWPS, PC, NIWPC, the message is clear. We want to thank you for being here. Brigadier Mtileni and distinguished SADC participants, thank you so much for responding to our call as Namibia. Kindly convey our profound gratitude to your governments, your respective governments, and indicate that this is a collective call, not only for Namibia, but for the SADC region as a whole. Our host, now I am putting on the Nampol cap, correctional cap, Namibian Defense Force in Mile 4, and the team that ensured that we never lacked anything on our tables, be it sweets, water, a pen, a writing pad, that was meticulously placed in front of us for the past 2 to 3 weeks. With love, they've done it occasionally and timely so. We would like to thank you. Our media practitioners, thank you for keeping the Namibian nation updated and informed on all important aspects as we strive towards moving Resolution 1325 forward. dear officers, all officers here, thank you for coming, and may we find strength and never get weary as we redouble our commitments to touch lives and make a difference, especially to those who need it most. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. May I wish you a safe journey back to your respective countries and destinations. May the Most High spiritual leaders be the carrier and the driver as you travel back. We shall surely meet again, inshallah. Having said that, General Madam, I have an announcement or two to make. After we sing the national anthem, we will move outside for a group photo, whereafter we will then have our lunch, and then we will network. You might want to rub shoulders with these powerful women that are in the room today. And having said that, thank you very much. And collectively, as a team, we achieve more. May we rise for the national and AU anthems.
Let us all unite and celebrate together the victories won for our liberation. Let us dedicate ourselves to rise together to defend our liberty and unity. All sons and daughters of Africa, flesh of the sun and flesh of the sky, let us make Africa the tree of life. Namibia, land of the brave freedom fight, we have won. Glory to their bravery, whose blood waters our freedom. We give our love and loyalty, together in unity. Contrasting beautiful Namibia, Namibia, our country, beloved land of Samanas, hold high the banner of liberty. Namibia, our country, Namibia, motherland, we love thee.
Thank you. We shall allow the high table to take leave towards the venue, and then we follow under our usual arrangements.